Hello, everyone, and welcome to day 26 of my 100-day project. I'm working in oil, and I'm working on a new surface today. This is an oil-primed canvas by Centurion, I think, and it's much smoother than the acrylic primed canvas panels I'd been using up until this point. And y'all, I rode the struggle bus hard today with this piece. This was such a big learning curve for me, and there were several things going on. So first of all, I had a time limit, but not like, oh, let's just set a 20-minute timer and just have fun. This was like, no, like I had a mental note that I had a fixed amount of time to do this painting. So it was like I was already coming into it with not a bad intention, but like coming into it feeling rushed, even though I had enough time to do it, but I was already feeling rushed. My mindset is what I'm trying to say wasn't in a great place when I started. And then I wasn't really sure what I was going to do. So I was just like, well, let me just do that mark, that jaw, sort of inverted L that I do that helps me start a face. And so I was like, okay, that's what I'm going to do. And started defining the planes of the face and could not get her neck. I struggled with her neck. That was bugging me. The brushes I was using. So when I was using the acrylic primed canvas, I kind of got a rhythm going with the brushes that I was using. I used maybe 4 different brushes. They're all different brands. They're all different stiffnesses. Most of them are hog hair. One of them is synthetic, or 2 of them, I guess, are synthetic. And I kind of had it figured out with the acrylic primed canvas panel, but this is so much smoother, and all of a sudden those brushes weren't reacting the same way. And when I work in acrylics, I don't really worry about brushes. I can get the effects I want with almost any brush. The style I paint with tends to be looser and lots of texture. I don't do a lot of like really detailed blending and gradients and all of that stuff. So brushes don't really matter to me. And I'm noticing with oil on this type of smooth surface, the brushes really matter. They were either too soft or too stiff. And so what I was trying to do was layer paint on top. So I think there were 2 things that were going on. One, I didn't have enough paint on my palette. Because I was rushing, I was like, okay, I don't want to put out a bunch of paint and, it's going to sit there, even though it's only going to sit there overnight. So I was already telling myself I needed to just make it work, right? So I didn't have enough paint on my palette, which meant I didn't have enough paint on my brush. That was number 1. Number 2, they were either too stiff and not enough paint, which meant I was wiping away everything that's underneath. Look at right now on her cheek that I'm working on. All of those good shadows are gone. I've basically just created mud, and I cannot get the layering I want to get. So I'm trying to add highlights, but I'm erasing all of my shadows because nothing is sticking. So, and I'm using this smaller brush, this round brush. Can't get the paint to stick to it or stick to the surface. So this brush was too stiff. And then I end up switching to a bigger one that's too soft. And same thing's happening. It's just smearing. So I'm really like having to relearn how to use these brushes on this surface and making sure I'm getting enough paint. So that was my number one issue, getting enough paint on the brush to lay on top of these layers. So I just started fighting with this painting. And so here I'm pulling out a bigger brush. This is a Simply Simmons hog hair, but it's really stiff. So I'm getting in there and defining her eyes okay, but it is like wiping away some of what's underneath her eye on the right side, when you're looking at her left eye, is gotten really small. Her nose is now in the wrong place. And I'm trying to get those shadows back now. And like now her nose is too high, so her features are moving around. And so I go and work on a different part. When I get frustrated with a part of the painting, I go and work on a different part of the painting. So I'm like, okay, let me go work on her hair for a little bit, and let me try that, and let me go in and try and work on the other side of her face. And I lost that shadow when I was trying to fix her nose. So it's just hot mess central right now. Like nothing's working. I've lost all my shadows. My highlights aren't sticking. I'm finally, that one mark right there, finally was able to get some of that thicker paint to stick on her face. And I'm like, okay, now we're starting to see something. I'm starting to get some definition. So let me go work on her eye, because I messed up her eye. It got super, super small. So let me try and fix that. So I'm using that rigger brush to get in there and get some darks going and redefine the top of her eyes, which I lost. Getting the reflection point in there. And then I was like, okay, enough with these small brushes. I've got to go back to a bigger brush. Well, I was using that stiff brush and it wiped everything away. So I went back to the bigger brush, that one filbert that I've been using that I'm actually really enjoying. And I went back to that and was like, okay, let me go back to what I know feels good, which is bigger brushes. Those little brushes, they drive me nuts. I don't know how to use little brushes. Like I can use them for little highlights and things, but I can't seem to get like good shapes with them. I've trained myself to use bigger brushes. So I go back to what I know, bigger brush. Okay, much happier. Getting a background in, it's kind of a neutrally lavender gray color. I'm liking that. Getting a little bit more of the darkness in. And it's getting closer now. I can deal with it. It's not great. It's certainly not my best work. Still fighting a little bit with her, but I'm like, okay, she's at a point where I can feel like I can walk away and be okay with it. And I think my favorite part is just that one eye and that one mark under her eye, that on her cheekbone, that's just like, that's what I was going for. And I was able to do it there, and I just couldn't get there again. So, my big takeaways from this: don't rush. Maybe I keep saying I'm going to set a timer and I haven't, but more paint. And I think that's really going to make a big difference. But this is why I'm doing this project, y'all, so I can learn and practice and grow. So thanks for joining me on the journey. Hopefully the struggle bus will park itself for a while, and we'll have a little bit more fun tomorrow. Take care of you, and I'll see you soon. Thanks. Bye.